I'm here with Brenda Davis. She's a registered dietitian. Hi, Brenda.
Hello.
Yeah. Brenda, tell us about the talk you did. Summarise the talk, because you talked about vegan and vegetarian nutrition. Tell us about the myth of protein.
Okay, well, basically a lot of people think that if you don't eat meat you can't get enough protein, and the reality is you need about 10 to 15% of calories from protein. Most plant foods contain somewhere in that range, and if you do a mix of plant foods, well, the average vegan gets 11 to 14% of calories from protein. Pretty much bang on, not too much, not too little, and it's not the issue a lot of people think it is.
And what are the sources that people can use for protein, which aren't animal-based?
Yeah, the great sources are beans, like any kind of legumes, certainly nuts and seeds, and non-starchy vegetables are actually a fairly good source as well. The things that are low are the fruits and some of the starchy veggies, but if you're not eating a pile of fat and a pile of sugar, then you're eating all real food, and you're eating enough calories, then you're going to get enough protein.
So basically you're saying if you have a healthy diet which is varied and you have enough calories, you're not going to be protein deficient.
Right on.
So tell us about the myth of calcium, because you say, well, to drink milk to have calcium, do you really need this?
Yeah, well, you don't need cow's milk any more than you need moose milk, to be honest with you. You need calcium though, and that's a thing that we've learned. To have strong bones, it's important to have enough calcium. So the issue is where do you get it? And certainly cow's milk is a source, so is the milk of any mammal, but is it natural for people to be consuming that? There are all sorts of good calcium sources for vegans, and certainly you can drink fortified soy milk or fortified almond milk and get a good amount there, but the dark green leafy vegetables, the ones that are low in oxalic acid like kale and broccoli and various Chinese greens, are an excellent source of calcium. Things like almonds, figs, blackstrap molasses, tofu made with calcium, there's all sorts of foods. And you know, the thing about in a vegan diet is there's calcium in almost everything you're eating. If you're not eating processed foods, there's calcium in everything, and you actually absorb calcium better when you're eating little bits of it throughout the day than one big bolus. And so vegans can do very, very well with calcium if they're conscious and if they're aware of the calcium sources.
Yeah, that's great. Tell us about pregnancy. You know, mothers out there who are pregnant right now be thinking, I don't know if it's safe to have a vegetarian or vegan baby.
Well, it's interesting because a good chunk of the world's population is actually vegetarian, even if it's not by choice. Yeah. And they seem to do reasonably well. We have a number of very good studies looking at vegetarians and vegans, and there really are no difference in terms of intelligence, in terms of size, in terms long-term with vegetarian children, if people are feeding them adequate diets. The one issue that I would make people aware of, if they're doing vegan especially, is to make sure you get enough B12. You don't want a baby to be born with no B12 stores, and you certainly want to make sure you have enough B12 in your breast milk. So other than that, you know, it's reasonably easy to do, and get yourself a good, well, like one of the books I wrote was Becoming Vegan, and get yourself a good book that gives you some guidelines, and we provide guidelines for pregnancy, lactation, infancy, etc. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Thanks.
Oh, you're very welcome.